Welcome back to Terror by the Bay. I'm David. Just checking to make sure my microphone's on. All right, I record this on August 11th, about 6:30 p.m. Pacific time. Headline, NPR News. Judge won't unseal transcripts of grand jury that indicted Epstein ex-girlfriend Maxwell. I was just started reading the first couple of paragraphs. I was like, oh my. Okay, I did hear that the grand jury transcripts weren't going to be released. And we were told this, over the years we've been told this, that it's, I didn't learn this from Law and Order, but one of the few things about law that I didn't learn from Law and Order, but this is just, paying attention to all these different court cases that we've had from the Mueller reports and the, and all the stuff Jack Smith was seeing over. Releasing grand jury information is an exceedingly rare thing. It just doesn't happen. And the reason for that is that grand jury testimonies, by their nature, are supposed to be secret. And so you don't want to release that secret out there because you get names of who you get to know who said what. There's been a fight by the Trump administration. There's been this fight to release or not release documents from the Epstein case, with Mike Johnson taking the extraordinary effort of sending Congress, the House, home early so that they couldn't vote on getting the documents from the Department of Justice within 30 days. And Maxwell saying, I don't want the grand jury information released, and the Trump administration wanting it released, and most importantly, MAGA and probably the rest of us would love to see those transcripts. We were also warned that much of the stuff that was likely in those transcripts is already public knowledge. So there wasn't going to be a lot of insight gathered. And further, the testimony wasn't going to be from the victims. It was going to be from like a police officer and a detective or an inspector that was on the case. So there really wasn't going to be much there. To this NPR article. Transcripts of the secret grand jury testimony that led to sex trafficking indictment of Jeffrey Epstein's former girlfriend shouldn't be released, a judge ruled on Monday. In a stinging decision because suggesting the department's real motive for wanting them unsealed was to fool the public with an illusion of transparency. Ouch! Judge Paul Engelmayer said in a written decision that federal law almost never allows the release of grand jury materials and that making the documents public casually was a bad idea. And the judge also belittled the Justice Department's argument that releasing grand jury materials might reveal new information about Epstein and Maxwell's crimes, calling that premise demonstrably false. Okay, further on this article, let me see, what do we got here? Okay, sorry. We're talking about the judge belittling the Justice Department's argument. After privately reviewing the materials the government sought to release publicly, the judge wrote that anyone familiar with the evidence from Maxwell's 2021 sex trafficking trial would learn, quote, next to nothing new, and, quote, would come away feeling disappointed and misled. Furthermore, quote, the materials do not identify any person other than Epstein and Maxwell as having had sexual contact with a minor. They do not disclose or identify any client of Epstein or Maxwell's. They do not reveal any heretofore unknown means or methods of Epstein's or Maxwell's crimes, the judge said. He added that the materials don't reveal new locations where the crimes occurred, new sources of Maxwell or Epstein's wealth, the circumstances of Epstein's death, or the path of the government investigation. The best argument to release the transcripts might be that, quote, doing so would expose as disingenuous the government's public explanations for moving to unseal, unquote. A member of the public, okay, get out of there. A member of the public, appreciating that Maxwell grand jury materials do not contribute anything to public knowledge, might conclude that the government's motion for their unsealing was aimed not at transparency, but at diversion. Aimed not at full disclosure, but the illusion of such. Good Lord! And that's in writing! Ouch! Ouch! Yeah, okay. Now, That being said, MAGA has expectations. This was promised to them, and they're not going to get it. Will they be mad at the judge? You better believe they will. But guess what? It just means that their Epstein itch isn't scratched. The Epstein case, the client list, all this information remains in the zeitgeist. It doesn't go away. Trump taking over the police force in Washington, D.C. is trying to cause a distraction and change the narrative, kind of like the Black Lives Matters thing. It's not going to change anything because the judge didn't give him anything. So now we wait for Mike Johnson to come back in Congress to subpoena those records. And which means that that's going to be in the zeitgeist for another month or so. The monster is rampaging the countryside and pretending to take over the police force to stop rampant crime that isn't happening isn't going to change that narrative. So let's take a look at the Epstein case as it currently stands. Trump's not getting the victories that he needs to distract. So he's going other places for it. Again, this will be for entertainment purpose only. Let's look at that Epstein case. What do we got going on? Temperance. We're going to have to be patient here. Crossed with the star card because we're anxious. We want to know what happened. More importantly, we want to know the star card is kind of like who's on the client list. Who's on the client list, and that itch isn't getting scratched. We're going to have to wait, but it's still moving forward. We are hit 3 major arcana, by the way. This is big stuff. It's still coming. And again, drip, drip, drip. This allows, because we're not getting that information, anything new that comes out with this Epstein case, testimony from victims or anything like that, any more birthday cards are released, it's just going to get gobbled up and consumed because people have a voracious appetite for it right now. In the past, the King of Swords, the judges ruled that, this is grand jury testimony. It's not going to be revealed. And in his decision, he basically said, why? Because there's no there. Me releasing this doesn't solve anything. There's an illusion of transparency that would be perpetuated if I were to do this. So I'm not doing it. Current situation, 6 of coins. Like I was saying, there's evidence, but the stuff you find out is meaningless. It's pennies on the dollar type stuff. It's not there. Overarching energy is the King of Cups. The judge did not get suckered into an emotional debate. He did what he felt was the mature way of doing things, but he presented it in a very analytical way. Analytical and mature. He's in charge. And he let everybody on record know that he's in charge. Lesson to be learned is the Tower card. I think the energy still around this is it's going to cause the collapse of Trump. It's obvious there's a cover-up here. Even MAGA knows there's a cover-up here. The problem with MAGA is they haven't figured out fully, or at least not to the point that they are willing to accept it, that the reason why there's a cover-up is that Trump has his hands all over this and that he was partaking. So I think a lot of them in their innermost part suspect that that's the case, fear that that's the case, or trying desperately not to believe that that's the case. But they're not so clueless that, because it just doesn't make sense. They want to believe him. They want to believe him. They want to believe him. Yet he's not acting like somebody who's being transparent, When he's telling them to give up on it, it's a Democratic hoax. Like, wait a minute, whoa! You told us this. This isn't a Democratic hoax. You yourself said that there's a lot of there, and now you're saying there's not. What's going on? And they're confused, and he hasn't been able to come up with a satisfactory explanation to address those things. So distractions it is. Outcome is the two of wands. So the transcripts being released isn't going to stop this process. This process is continuing to crash. And there's more to come. It may not be today, but there is more to come in the future. Again, it's coming. It's coming at its own time. I want to kind of find out here. Get this back up. Let's look to see how MAGA is reacting to the news that this judge is not going to release those transcripts. The grand jury transcripts. Again, it's kind of like, releasing the footage of the outside of Epstein's cell. And then folks pointing out, there's at least a minute missing. And I think many people in my comments said it's up to 3 minutes. That's the type of stuff that drives MAGA nuts. Because it feeds into their conspiracy theory, right? They suspect he's been murdered. Here's some footage, but look, there's a small part deleted. That's normal. Don't you worry about that. You find out it's about 3 minutes and that the raw footage isn't raw footage. It's been manipulated. They're not buying it. Because first off, they're trained for conspiracy theories. They're looking for facts that don't make sense. And normally it's, flat earther type stuff. But in this case, I think there really is a there. And they're kind of on the forefront of it. And they're not buying it because in their mind, we're not going to accept what the government's saying. It's a deep state thing. We know he was murdered and you're just lying to us. So that's why Trump's lies aren't working, because they are prepped for the lies and they're ignoring those. They spot the lies when they happen. So it's like, it's one of those few instances where they don't have a curtain over their eyes and they're not seeing what's happening right in front of their face. They're fully seeing it. They just don't understand or not fully appreciating Trump's involvement with this. Imagine what the earth-shaking moment when they realize that he is prominent as an abuser in this. It's going to be crushing. How's MAGA taking the fact that they don't get their grand jury transcripts? Victimization, anybody? They want the transcripts released. They really want them released. Don't. You're hiding this from us. Yeah, it's a loss. Not a victory, it's a loss. Them holding on to this is a loss for them. Them releasing it would have been a victory. They've been denied a victory. And now they're going to have to wait until Congress comes back to release that information. Queen of Cups, they've been waiting for that release to come out. They were getting ready to celebrate it because, hey, we're going to get our information and we're going to find out all those rotten old Democrats and those liberal Hollywood elites. That's what they want. They want their liberal Hollywood elites. They're going to keep, even though they have to wait, they're not going to be contemplative. They may be quiet, but they're not going to be contemplative. They want their Oompa Loompa daddy, and they want it now. Lesson to be learned at Ace of Wands. When they want something, they're a fiery group with their big wands and their big sticks, and they're going to make big noise till they get what they want. The High Priestess, which is funny, because the High Priestess to me in this situation is, be careful for the knowledge that you wish for, because when it's revealed to you, you don't get to pretend to unknow it. The facts when they come out will be everybody's facts. It won't be, facts versus alternative facts, aka lies, propaganda, misinformation. It's going to be information, and we'll all be working on facts, the same facts for a change. They will not like where those facts lead them. Now, I'm very confident in saying that they're the ones who aren't going to like it, rather than us. Why? Because honestly, I believe we've been living in objective reality for a long time. They haven't. And it's going to come crashing down hard on them. Even if I was wrong, let's just say, go through the thought exercise of, what if I'm the one that's been lied to? What if I'm the one that's been buying everything hook, line, and sinker, and it is the evil Dems, the communist, socialist, Marxist Dems? It's like, then why is Trump acting the way he's acting? Why is he suddenly saying it's a Democratic hoax as opposed to releasing it like he said he would? Do you see how quickly it falls off? Just that one question is impossible to always protecting you. From who? The evil Marxist Democrats? If they've been raping girls, let's be rid of them, shall we? Yeah. How's Trump handling this, what I will call a setback? How is Trump handling this? His legacy. He's worried about his legacy. And it's almost like there's that vibe of his secret's coming out. He knows his secret's going to be out. It's going to tear into his legacy. And he doesn't know who to reach out to make this problem go away. He's been trying to make this go away. Trying to bamboozle people. Doing things, anything that he can to change the narrative, move things forward. Expect that he's going to rage on Truth Social some conspiracy theory about this. More conspiracies about this. This could be a whistleblower's card over it. Maybe we get some more information about it from a whistleblower. This could just be that this judge doesn't know what he's doing and that type of thing here. But yeah, this is just, he can't get out from underneath this. He can't change the narrative. This is too much for him. He doesn't have somebody to help him get over this. There's only so much a Caroline Levitt can do on this. So now the outcome is the 7 of coins. Now he has to come up with a new plan. He's going back to the bush of distractions, and nothing seems to be working. So, yeah, he's worried about his legacy, but he's still trying to figure out ways to change the narrative on this. But this is like that one thing that's his kryptonite. He can't get out from underneath it. Going back to what Linda G. and Marianne and Libby and or more Lena, but Libby and Dave Johnson and such. Sterling, his downfall will be women. Women will be his downfall. And we've been, is it Stormy Daniels? Is it Rona Graff? Is it Judge Tanya Chutkin? Is it Letitia James? Is it Fonnie Willis? On and on, all looking for all these female heroes, and it's probably going to be a bunch of 13 and 14-year-old girls. That his abuse of women is going to be his downfall. Not necessarily a single woman, but the female collective. Do you remember all the Queen of Swords cards that Dr. Lena and Marianne used to get? I think Kirsten and Linda G would get them too, and they're like, "Who is this queen? Who is this woman?" I just think it was and they speculated it could be a collective. It probably is. It probably is the collective. Oh, and that Page of Swords over there, that's going to be the girls again. That overarching energy, he can't get out from underneath the girls. He just can't. What else does Spirit want us to know with regards to this? We're 19 and a half minutes into it. This will be a kind of a dangerous reading to do, but I think I'll do it anyways, just not on this one. I've just, in the back of my mind, I'm sure I've seen comments of it too. Do you ever wonder about Ivanka? For as horrible as she can act as an adult and all that stuff, You know, she was at her daddy's side, and she was interested. She knew who Epstein was, and Trump said all sorts of creepy stuff about her. You know, it makes you wonder if girls were getting traded like playing cards. Just saying. And that was another one. If a woman brings them down, many intuitive saw Ivanka turning on her dad. Can you imagine if this is payback for something that maybe he did to her back then? That's why I don't want to read on it, because, you know, that's some dark stuff right there. Again, entertainment purpose only. I'm not saying he did or didn't. It's just kind of that you wonder, right? Because it just seems like why he'd be capable of it. What else does Spirit want us to know about this? Ace of Swords, it's truth, justice. Justice is going to prevail. Sword of Justice is there. The truth is going to be out. There's going to be a victory. Things are going to be known. And there's going to be disappointment. And by disappointment, this could range from Trump, you know, not being held accountable, to lots of Democrats being on there, people that we loved and admired and rooted for. No, just get ready. Just get ready. It's moving forward at its pace. That kind of like the spiritual plan is the reassurance. We will see this. This will see the light of day. There will be the victory here, but be prepared for disappointment. In the end of the day, no matter what you thought of a person, you probably did not know them as a person. You knew a persona. And that there will be people on there that you will be disappointed to find out were there. There will be people there that did everything that they were accused of, but will never be held to account. There will be people protected. There will be people thrown under the bus. There will be people we despise that are caught, and there will be people that we admired that will be caught. It's going to be the full spectrum. We won't get everything we want out of this. That's for the life reviews and the God plan and stuff like that. But we will get some form of justice. It may not always be who we want. The justice may not come the way we want it to come, but it will come. Okay? Thank you very much for watching this video and supporting my channel. I appreciate it. This reading is for entertainment purposes only, but I hope you found it insightful, and I'll catch you on the next video. Take care.